Good morning. This is Carrie reporting live from the mulch pile in my backyard. Mosquitoes everywhere. One of the reasons I appreciate living in Bastrop so much is the size of the town, the size of the county. We're like, well, depending on what the census says, have you filled out your census? We're maybe just under 10,000 people in the city limits and like 85,000 in the county. And what that means to live in like a small town under 10,000 people is you get to see the same people all the time, every day, all day long, whether you're talking to them or not. Like you've formed this orbit of constantly relating with people. So when I go to watch the news at night, and I see these big towns, these big cities where the riots and protests are happening, they're happening everywhere. The feelings are everywhere. And it's not that we're immune to them here at all. I don't believe that. The feelings are everywhere. They manifest differently in the big cities because there's so many people and there's just more of everything. So what I appreciate about living here is that we know all the people here. And so those feelings are happening, but we know the faces attached to those feelings. And so it's, I'm not gonna say easier, maybe it's harder if you've known someone forever, but it's so much easier, I'll say more accessible. It's more accessible to have a conversation with someone you know, with someone who has a face. You know what I mean? Whatever viewpoint they're having, it's like they have a face and you have a relationship with them, and so it's more accessible to have a conversation with them. And I just appreciate that so much about living here. It's not that we're immune. Escalations and frustrations and pain are everywhere right now. They always have been, but they're very loud. And they're very here, and they're very wherever you are too. So what's helpful for me is to break the bigness down into something small. Like, I watch the news and I'm like, I can never handle that. I can never deal with that. I can never troubleshoot that. How do you even begin to deal with that? But then when I bring it home to Bastrop, I'm like, we have our healing history conversations happening. We have our tea and talk that Samaya and Crystal have started, and they've done in a few places across the United States, where you invite all the ladies, all the colors, and you have tea together every other month, and you just talk. You just talk, and you listen. And the recipe is simple, because all people really want to do is be heard. And then we have these healing history conversations happening that Crystal started. God bless this family, their impact in Bastrop County, where people share stories of historical trauma in Bastrop County. And that's not where it ends, but that's where the conversation starts, because that's the first step. It's listening. And this weekend we have a day of unity that some teenagers thought up. Local Bastrop teens is their brainchild, with the help and support of some loving aunties in the community. So I appreciate living here because things are a little bit smaller and they're more digestible. And it feels like we can work with the components because they have faces on them. And we care about each other first, and so we really care to listen. I can be totally naive. I'm sure I am. I'm sure there's layers of understanding that I do not have yet. Obviously. But the part that I do know is that people want to be heard and acknowledged and seen. And even though I don't feel like my voice is one of the pivoting voices in this conversation, I am pretty good at helping create contexts where people feel comfortable to speak up. I'm not creating them, but being in the space with them, you know? Like I really want to hear what people have to say, and I think people, when there's genuine curiosity on the other side, I think people respond to that. And I think there are a lot of people in our community who really want to hear what people have to say. So, not that I'm giving advice, but if the world is feeling overwhelming to you, like it does to me every night when I watch the news, I encourage you to bring it home, to your neighborhood, to your street, and figure out how to make it digestible and workable, like by initiating maybe just one conversation a day with neighbors, like getting to know neighbors. Like, I just feel like the problem is so complicated and the recipe actually may be pretty simple. Like, there's people hurting. Maybe we could listen to them. I know I'm naive and ideal and all those things that I'll look back on this and be like, oh, I can't believe I opened my mouth. But we all have to start somewhere, and so I'm just giving myself grace to open my mouth because I don't evolve in my paralyzation. That's for sure. So, yes, I'm aware of what's going on in the world, and I'm very active in my little community here to keep the lines of communication open as much as possible. I'll report back and tell you what the results are. Okay. Love you guys. Fill out the census. Be counted. Have a great week.